How do you try? And then it's still need the computer for the sound. Oh, just get it. Okay, all right. Okay.
Tonight is a is a tour featuring. He has a comic.
You guys, this is always the best attended event, but it just blows my mind. Look at all of you. Just here to have fun and get crazy, or get wild, or whatever. All of the above. It's amazing. I don't like things in my pockets. Is it weird that I'm standing on stage unloading everything? I don't like things in my pockets. I don't know. Weird. This is, we're in this side now. I went over there last, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Because I performed here last year, and then, so I go over there, and I was like, yeah, no one showed up. They saw last year's show. And they're like, oh, they're over there. So, who knows? We'll see. And there's a dance party after. We're gonna. I'd say this is always unique to me because, or not unique to me, but I'm not a huge dancer, and I hope that's okay to admit, especially in front of this group. You know, that's the beat, I think. And you're like, no, that's not the beat. That's not it. But there's always so much pressure. If you know somebody, I mean, there is so much more pressure. I'm a member of this church, and I've, on occasion, I was like, you should enjoy it, you'll join it, it'll be fun. And that is so much more low-key compared to the pressure you get when you get invited to go country swing dancing. Do you dance? Do you want to dance? You should dance. Come, there's a lesson before. And I'm like, it's not gonna go the way you expect. And they, teach you the thing. And I always end up dancing with a girl that eventually she just gets to the point where she's like, you know what, I'll lead. How about I lead? I'll just lead. It seems easier. I take control because you clearly do not have control. A mess. My favorite thing is everyone, come dance, do it, come dance. And then you get out and they're like, not like that. What were you talking about? I thought you wanted me to dance. I love doing comedy in a multicultural hall. Thanks, guys. I always do where the crowd, right as we finish, you'll all immediately grab your chairs and you're like, let's. We'll all know exactly how to do it, and we'll see variety of it. Putting away. You got some people who will go, oh, I'm going to do two. Oh, put your shoulder to the wheel. How about that? They're doing two. That's four. You're like, oh, he's been working out. And then the guy, they act like they're making a bed sheet with the chairs. They're like, and they flip them and then they shut it real fast. Somebody here knows how to do it, I'm sure. And you're like, whoa, you're next level. That must be the state president. He knows how to put chairs away like a boss. I figure that's how the church authority works. If you know how to put that away, you're automatically a state president. If you know how to lift that up and put it down, I've never figured that out. I know it's just a button, but I don't have the authority. And now shove basketball. And this side has it, this side, we didn't know what we were doing. Or that's going to be used for a wedding reception later. That's the other reason why that might be down. Well, we got to put the streamers up there. The Christmas lights if we don't have the basketball. We tease. I realize this is a singles group, but everyone here has been married once or twice, I'm sure. Did any of you get married? Did any of you do the multicultural hall wedding reception? Who did that? By round of applause. Yeah. My siblings all did that. We did that because that was, that's what we did. That was our family. The compliments that you would get when people would come in and they were like, ball court. Yeah, we did it. A lot of streamers, a lot of lights, and a weird, garden archway thing. This arch, why? I don't know. It's just what you do. And then you shake hands for the rest of the night. That was the part of the pandemic that I was stoked about. Remember when they were like, we won't ever shake hands again? I was like, oh, cool. Because it's such a part of our culture to always, hi, brother, sister, so-and-so. Hi, how do you do? Hi, and I'm going to touch your hand. And it's fine. I don't mind shaking hands, really, but a long time ago, I broke my hand like an idiot. And so now every time I shake it, if somebody just squeezes just right at the right point, I just have to go, oh, yes. That's always embarrassing. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Just very weak. These shows always intrigue me because I get to do stories that I would never ever do ever again. Because we can just say things and you guys get it. Because you know what a ward is. I always think it's funny that was the term that stuck. Illinois, that was how they divided up sectors. They were like, this is a ward, this is a ward. And it was like a political show an area, but that didn't stick. They didn't keep it, but we did. We kept it, and then one other group kept it. Is the group of when you go. Two groups. We're like, we'll use it. We got it. We're a peculiar people. It'd be absolutely fine to just say ward everywhere. They're in my ward. Did you escape from a ward? Ridiculous. Steak Center. Is this a steak center? This feels like a steak center. It's not? Which one's, is it that one? It's a double chapel. That is an only Utah thing. Apples. Is it similar to dueling banjos? Where you ding 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 ding. What would a dueling chapel say? Like, we are thankful for the moisture here. Like, I don't know, like, we're thankful for it over there. That's what always blows me away. I grew up in Seattle, but I live here now. And just the fact that Seattle, we call it rain. We're used to saying rain. Utah, never, ever, ever do you call it rain. It is always, well, we needed the moisture. Moisture? People don't like hearing that word, moist. Utahns, though, they fully embrace it. Thankful for the moisture. Did you see it? I half expect the weatherman in Utah to be like, as you can see on the map here, we got a great big moisture cloud coming in. It's gonna hit the Wasatch Front. You're gonna want to moisturize before the moisture cloud hits. Moisturize the city. If you don't like the word moist, how do you describe good cake? Like if you have cake that you really like this cake is super damp. I love how it's very soggy cake. It's worse. I don't know. Sometimes I'm blown away that this is my job. I was a shy kid, as a youngster, I don't know, I didn't have great self-confidence to the point that my parents were concerned about it. My parents were like, we gotta build this self-confidence. So they gave me these subliminal messages, tapes. I know that sounds weird, but they were like, he just doesn't listen in person, so let's just give him it to it. His subconscious will maybe listen. And I put these tapes in at night, and it was like ocean sounds, and I was like, you're a good kid. Believe in yourself. And don't wet the bed. I was like, it was a lot easier before the ocean sounds tape. I'm trying not to wet the bed, listen to the Pacific every night. It's not easy. But then they built my self-confidence in this unanticipated way. They warned me about kidnapping. And I know that sounds weird, but why would that build your self-confidence? Because I was shy, I didn't have a lot of friends, and they told me about kidnapping, and I was like, wait a moment, just strangers want me? Yeah, they do. I was like, I want to be kidnapped! I'm like, no, you don't. I was like, I think I do. You told me about vans with candy. I don't like kidnappers. Mobile Halloween? Yes, thank you. So they give me a password. They were like, all right, he's gonna just get into the car with anybody. Here's the thing, Steve, you'll have a family password. So if anybody comes to pick you up, they have to give you the family password. Passwords. Pull up in her Geo Metro. She'd be like, Steve, I'm here to pick you up from school. I was like, she's like, he is messing this up, guys. Remember the password. Do you have a Starburst? I'll get in there for a Starburst. She only had the orange one, so I didn't get in. How do you end up doing this, right? I studied biology in college. Become a narcissist, and that joke's rough to do with this age group. I know some of you are doctors. Some of you did it. That's the other weird thing, is like, I'm glad that we do this. We do this, it's adult, it's normal. Do you remember being in like a YSA or even a single adult group? Remember when they dropped the Y? That was great. That made you feel like, oh, it's getting serious. You're just in a single adult, Lord. But yeah, we would do the same stuff we did when we were 16. They were like, we need to entertain these people. And I was like, okay, well, this is great when you're 16. We all end up hiding in the same crawl. I've never been to a girl. I was thrilled. I was in underneath the stage in that very scary time. But we hid there, and there was girls there. And I think I touched her hand, and my friend was like, that's my hand. And I was like, well, you had to ruin it, didn't you, Jeff? So proud of myself. Sardines is awesome when you're 16. Sardines, when you're 35, is really stupid. It's just you sitting in a crawl space next to a doctor and a lawyer. And you try to make small talk. You're like, hey, when do we get out of here? And they're like, we'll be here a long time. I didn't make it to med school. But here I am doing this, and you go, how do you do this when you studied that? Simple. It's childhood. It's always childhood, right? It's what you did when you were a kid, and we all probably had pretty similar upbringings. My parents took us to church every Sunday, but I noticed that once a month, where we go to church, regular church, we have yeah. It's always so fun, right? It's one of the most beautiful concepts in our church, that everybody has a voice, everybody has something to share. And I love that. In that audience, you have fantastically talented, amazing people who could just get up and speak like that. And unfortunately, you never hear from those people. It's always the craziest person you've ever seen in your life who goes, now is my time to shine, and they're bolting for the podium, and they just start saying the weirdest stuff you've ever heard in your life. And I'm a kid in church, and there's something holy today. No, you're a kid, you're just like, come on, weirdos. I hope we hear from some weirdos today. And we always did. The Seattle 15th Ward had the best weirdos. There were favorite things. Well, fast and testimony, will you marry me? And that was an interesting one. There was a guy, he wasn't normally in our ward. He's like, you belong in a different kind of ward. Not this one. And he thought, this is the time. Liz for my life, and I want. That's kind of cute. Maybe it'll work. But that was it. And we didn't say amen. Nobody. Because it was like, are they married if we say amen? So, they have to get married. They're like, amen! Ah! Nobody said anything. It was so quiet in that chapel. We all just were like, and Liz, what do you think? Liz didn't get up to speak. Nobody did for about 5 minutes. We just sat there in what was extra silent. And the next speaker was like, okay. Nice. Love, right? Well, and that was the last time I saw that guy. We didn't see the proposal guy ever again. Probably my favorite speaker at Fast and Testimony meeting is the guy who comes up after someone who says something that maybe they shouldn't have said, and it's usually the bishop, and he gets up and he goes, thank you so much, that was beautiful, thank you for sharing, and just to be clear, we don't believe that, that's not a thing. I want to make sure everyone knows that's not a thing. Love Fast and hard. Hilarious things into the mic. Amazing. I love that. Love it. I want. And I think that's where stand-up comedy started. Sunday, and I'll admit there was 2 years where it wasn't my favorite church day. 2 years when you're a missionary, open mic Sunday terrifies you. It's not normally like this. It's not usually this weird. We don't believe that, by the way. We're just... Why did we invite them today? And that was the best, when you're a missionary and somebody starts saying something weird and you're just sitting there, you're 19 years old going, who's gonna fix it? Who's gonna fix it? Nobody's gonna fix it. Nobody's fixing it. And then you realize, it's my job to fix it. I'm a missionary, I represent. Here, I gotta fix it. So you get up and you're like, okay, that was beautiful, thank you for sharing. And just to be clear, that is not a thing. I know that's the bishop, but that is not a thing. We don't believe that. Just so, it's lifetimes ago. And I was so like, I also was a good, maybe too good. Sometimes the people who want to talk to the missionaries are usually the people who want to get up at Fast and Testimony meeting. And they're like, I'm going to teach these 2 young boys. They need to learn. And I remember sitting down with this one guy, and he taught me all about the rapture. You need to learn all about the rapture. And he's like, yeah. And he's kind of crotchety, and he's like, and you know, he may be taken. Points at my companion. You get left here. And I was like, oh, what a thing. How spooky. And this is a weird, true thing that happened. Later on that week, our little area was hit by a tornado. and we were in a 10-story building, and we were on the, well, I think it was, well, whatever, but we were on the 10th floor of a high building, and a tornado came through, and the building was rocking, and the wind blowed so hard that the curtains on our windows were just like this, just straight out. And there was lightning, like a strobe light, and I woke up to this strobe light lightning, water hitting me on the face, and I'm far from the window. It was my bed, my companion's bed, and the window. And I look up and I see the strobe light lightning, curtains like this, and he's gone. Elder Smith has been raptured, and I got left behind. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't think it's a thing. But I was like, Elder Smith, Elder Smith. No answer. I run into the kitchen, Elder Smith. And then he's in the living room, and he's like, I'm shutting all the windows. Smart. Like, what do you? Sleeping safely here on Earth? You're good, right? You're good. It was one of the weirdest moments of my mission where I suddenly believed in the rapture. Before it started. Remember how nice everybody was to you when you were leaving? Like you were gonna go die or something? Hey, we shall make him his favorite meal, his last meal with the family, and all these nice things, and then let him pick the program. He can pick the hymns that we sing before we leave. A gift. What 19-year-old? I had no idea what hymns to choose. I didn't know. The only hymn I knew, I was like, we could sing that one they sang when the Titanic was singing. I didn't know what to pick. And they're like, no, let's not do Near My God Today. Choose something else, Steve. And I was like, okay. And my dad goes, I don't care, Steve. Just don't pick that one that goes, ooh. And I was like, what in the foghorn note? I've never heard a foghorn hymn. What hymn is that? And my dad goes, you know, the one that goes, ya-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, uh-huh. And you're like, hey. To feel how piratey it is. But I was like, could you do a little more of it, Dad? Just explain it. And my dad is a goofball, so he goes, I'll sing it, but I have to sing it in the key of pirate. To which I said, sing on! You know, I was excited to hear him. And so I would say, who, now is the time you show, and you just feel it in your bones. We ask it fearlessly. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. At that point, I love that it sounds piratey. They know that the tune is maybe to an old Irish drinking song. And they go, well, we'll make it spiritual. Great, that's fantastic. I love it. Love the idea. And we'll make it good. But to not even change the lyrics to not sound, just be like, who's on the Lord's side? Who? Like you can, we ask it fearlessly.
I knocked it out. The Lord didn't like that joke.
I started to get back into the joke. Oh, now we're back. Okay, but I won't touch a thing. Seems good. We're good. All right. Whew. Like, should I be doing this joke? I don't know. Likes it. Whew. I don't know. Because he said, yeah, put that in the hymn book. Steve will make. But it'll get people to sing it. This is a weird behind the scenes on. And I almost got shy to do it in front of you guys because it was like you've heard it before. But I had a guy from Virginia contact me and I watched her stuff online and I specifically really. Oh, that's really cool. And he said, and I'm being baptized this next week. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. That's awesome. And he said, and we're singing it at my baptism. Watch on Zoom. I would love to watch on Zoom. He said, and I bought these We went on Amazon and bought eye patches for everybody at the baptism. And everybody wore them. They was like, all right, we're going to sing. They all wore eye patches. And they swayed, and I felt like it was very sacrilegious, but of it, and I on social. And we're still in touch, and he's a great guy. Love him. Great. Yeah, I don't know. Still active, yeah. Into them. So ridiculous. I don't know. There's just so much about the hymn that when my favorite part of the hymn, and my dad's too, of course. And you gotta be kidding me. Everybody's singing that, and it's not just like, let's just have the basses hit the foghorn. They're like, no, let's do everybody, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, everybody go, ooh. And you're like, that can't be right. How would we all sing that? And you look in the top and it says, sing pirately, and you go, there you go. And when you hear, ooh, you're like, am I on? Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, we made it through. I didn't know if we would. I was a little nervous about it. I always think it's so. Speaking of being social and stuff like that, it's just how much the world has changed. I mean, all of us, we grew up without the internet. We grew up, and that was like, that's a weird thing to say. But I mean, Jackie Chan movies were out right then. It was like ninjas were, oh, that was the thing. And I'm just this little like preteen. Oh yeah, ninjas. And I was positive I needed a ninja star. I was like, I need a ninja star, which you can't just like now, if I wanted a ninja, the internet would just ship it to me. They'd be like, this seems safe. Give a ninja star to a kid. But when you're a kid in the 90s, you can't go to the internet. Swap meet. And I remember going to that swap meet and showing up, and there was like this guy with a van, and I was like, oh. And he has this red velvet case with glass over the top. He would just go. And he's like, which one do you want? I was like, that one. Is it sharp? And I was like, will it kill a lot of ninjas? He's like, so many ninjas. And as a kid, I didn't question it, because I didn't question adults as a kid. And now, as an adult, I'm like, who the heck was that guy? Just selling ninja stars to preteen boys. And I was like, how much for that? And he's like, $25. And I was like, oh, I don't have $25. I didn't have that. What else do I have? I'd never seen a butterfly knife in my life before, and so and he's like, I'll show it to you. It goes, a knife! Just this weird fanfare to a knife. Oh, I need that. I absolutely need that. How much is that? And he's like, that's $20. I actually can't afford that. $20 to the swap meet, thinking that was enough for ninja stars, and it wasn't enough for butterflies. And so, not really a switchblade. It was just like, shing, a comb, and that's what I was like, oh, look at that. I feel like I was stuck. The family that I grew up in, my parents were always very speak, and it was like, well, we couldn't. I'm just gonna say it here. It still feels rude to me, right? We would replace it though with shush up. You better shush up. Ooh, it's getting serious. Telling each other to shush up. We couldn't say but. Not the conjunction, the one with two T's. What do you do when you can't say that? I was telling a story one time. I was like, Dad, we went sledding today, but my dad's like, whoa! Who you were. Sorry, Dad, I sledded down the hill on my bum. Do you hear how stupid? Sounds like I'm sledding down the hill on a homeless man that I own for some reason. Just sliding on my bum. Come on, Gus, let's go. And my dad was like, we don't say that either, because that's weird what you did with your homeless friend there. What can we say? And my dad thinks about it, and he's like, we'll say Bim. I was like, that makes it sound like we're a British family or something. He's like, I slid down the hill on me bim for that. What a great day it was. Slid all the way to the bim of the hill. We couldn't say bottom either. So many weird rules. I know that here from Great Britain, and they're just like, these Americans, they're the worst. During the pandemic, I remember I got to do some Zoom shows. I did an international Zoom show. It went from Abu Dhabi. Here's actually the truth behind this, because it was Abu Dhabi, Italy, I want to say like Estonia or something crazy like that, and then London. And you go, how does it end up going to all those countries? It's because and they are the most organized group right here, where you see so many, this is huge, so many people here, and you're like, how did this happen? And you're like, we are very lonely. And so when we did this Abu Dhabi, it went, yeah, just talking before and after the show and having so much fun. It was really cool. After the show, but I have this problem that anytime I'm talking to someone with an accent, this little thing in the back of my and you're like, what do you mean? And your brain's like, talk like they do. No, that's not a good idea, brain. And it's like, yeah, impression of them in front of their face. And you don't mean to do it, but you can't help yourself. Your brain just fills in the gaps, you know. And they were like, so in the US, do you guys all have COVID? And I was like, maybe a little bit. Like, what? My parrot brain go, and he's like, oh, fantastic, where are you from? Seattle. You don't sound like you're from Seattle. No, I don't. I didn't know how to get out of it. I was so embarrassed. He's like, what? I was like, what? I talk like this. I don't know why I was doing that. I wasn't trying to make fun of you, but to be fair, you started it. Oh, your fault. Why we do it. The best I can come up with is these things called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are these insecure neurons in your brain that are just like, you don't have a personality, use theirs. And you just copy what you see and you're like, that's what they do. And apparently it works. I don't know. It's ridiculous. My other theory on it is that it's your tongue, right? I know that because I have a permanent retainer in my mouth. What that is it's a little metal ball. You get your braces off. Because he doesn't believe you when you say, I'll wear my retainer. He's like, this idiot's dumb. I know him. His parents haven't listened to this. Metal bar went onto the back. Did you know this is here? Did you see this? There's a metal bar. I get it, Tom. You can stop touching it. Obviously, you've been on a date at some point and had a tortilla chip just right in your gums. And we got it. And it's never gonna get it. Tell your tongue to stop it. And you know you look ridiculous in front of her. You're like, do you have a lot of siblings? Just trying to get your stupid tortilla. You're like, lay off tongue. Wait for floss, and your tongue's like, we are floss. We will get it. She will admire. Does it? My tongue, when I had the retainer problem, was touching it so much that it started to cut itself on it. It was like, we're bleeding now. It hurts when we do this. It hurts right now like this. We're bleeding and your blood tastes like screws. What is wrong with you? Why do we all know what screws taste like? What's wrong with this? We're not all carpenters. Some of us are, but no, we're just people who were curious and had screws and we just screw them in our mouth. Learned what they tasted like. Living in Utah is always unique. This is like my job now, and obviously the health insurance is really good. And you find yourself reaching out to all your friends who, it's too expensive. To your friends who do alternative medicine, inevitably they're going to be like, have you tried these oils? They're great. I love those oils. My friend is a massage therapist, and she does on her hands, and put the hands below the table, and you're lying in looking in your face. You have no way of moving your face. And she puts her hands right up to your face and she'll go, smell my hands. And and it feels like rude not to, like, what do? You just have to be like, thank you for the sniff, yeah. Is that lemon? What is that? She's a massage therapist, not a masseuse. I guess they're different. I called her a masseuse, and she's like, massage therapist. And it bummed me out because I like the word masseuse more. It's more fun to say. And in my head, my masseuse would have like done continuing education, her doctorate in masseusery or something. And you'd be literally how fun is that, right? Dr. Masseuse is like, try it. Relaxation for you is key, but first you must undress for me. Dr. Masseuse. What is wrong with you? It's the weird part of the massage. They say it casually because they're used to it. They're just like, hey, just get undressed, I'll be right back. And then they leave. And I believe them. Get undressed. I think this is how the massage goes. But then they start doubting what I heard. Did they say get undressed? Why are you, this is inappropriate. You start panicking, you're like, I don't know what to do. You put your socks back on. I don't want to be naked. You put your belt on. I'm ready. This is good. I don't know. How do I wait? How do I wait on that? She didn't say, this is a weird table. You're just... You're supposed to wait in between the sheets. That's what she said. Wait in between the sheets. Not on top of the sheets. You lie face down. You put your face in the toilet. Think that. We would never see that thing and go, that's from a face. At the end of your toilet. Did you mean to have a gnome toilet? I'm a human. Does he walk on my back? So I put my face in the tiny toilet lid and I smell her hands and pressure level do you like? What pressure level for my massage? 15 psi. I don't know what to say. It was my first massage, so I said, medium. Touch me medium, please. That's how I like salsa. Maybe it's how I like massage. She starts touching me medium, and I immediately am like, mild, touch me mild. You sort of contact, please, just a little softer. That was me the whole massage. The whole massage, I'm just ketchup. I need the tomato sauce of massages. The real problem is that I come from a large family, as I suspect all of you do too. There's no way that you can ever offer up that information safely. Hey, siblings, I'm ticklish. And expect them to use that knowledge with kindness and benevolence. Even as an adult, if you say, I'm tickled, and they always think, really? And they touch you. They're going to touch you and be like, where? And you're like, no, stop. I don't want So I don't trust her. The table, right into the toilet lid. My toes start going like this. What are you doing, toes? And they're like, getting rid of tickles. It's not working. Faster? What are we doing? I don't know. Eventually, I couldn't handle it, and I go, stop! And she's like, oh, what did I do? And I was like, just don't touch me. She's like, okay, well, that's what you paid me to do. And I was like, yeah, just stop doing that. Just rub. While you and me listen to Anya together. Know it because you listen to it on your mission. I did that joke. And I was like, I don't know the lyrics, and this one kid, I do. I was thinking, you do? No hesitation. I was like, will you teach me? And he goes, the stage, and he's a performing arts guy, so he knows to perform. And right into the microphone just goes, who can say where the road goes, where the river knows? I was like, that's it? How do you know that? And he was like, my mom is a massage therapist. Yeah. So the health insurance for this job has me going and seeking my massage therapist. But you can't always go to your massage therapist for every problem, and you can't fix everything with a central. Ooh. Get him off the stage. Heretic. I don't know. Here's the thing, my appendix was exploding. What if we get it to stop? Oil friends are like, well, you should have tried frankincense. That would have worked. I didn't know. The whole appendix exploding thing is weird to me, that it even happens. That we just have this like moody teenager organ inside our body that just and is just like, nobody knows what I'm for, and loses it and blows up. Why does it blow up? Why does it explode? And by the way, why is it filled with poison? Like it's this weird practical joke. God's just like, check this out, check this out. Put this at the end of the large intestine. Oh, okay, what do we fill it with? Jelly? No, poison. Why? Well, you gotta thin the hurt. You never know it's your appendix either. You have to figure it out, right? And I didn't know it was my appendix, so I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm sick. I don't feel good. What's going on? WebMD. Oh, and I was like, oh, my ovaries. I didn't even know I had those. So it's a weird day. I blamed it on what I had eaten. I was like, this is indigestion. I already have a plan for it. The paunch will be a push-out, and it's where you eat a second bigger burrito. It's a good idea, right? It's not a good idea. Obviously, if you're going to try to do one of these maneuvers, be close to home. You've lit a fuse, and I was dumb. I wasn't close to home. I live in Salt Lake City. I was in New York City, and too far from the home toilet. I had to fly home that night. That flight was delayed, which is what life does. How's it going? Like, what if I make it worse? I'm like, no, and life will make it worse because I enjoy watching. So I didn't get a delayed flight, didn't get off the plane until 2 in the morning, just shuffling, just like, and the second one, I don't know, that's a bad idea. But you see all the other shufflers and you're like, because nobody getting off a plane at 2 in the morning is like, let's go. You know, they all just shuffle. They're like, and you're like, follow me, keep it. Sorry, that's his body. Walking that line. I got home and tried to sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was in too much pain, and I Googled how to this intestinal situation, and so many yoga poses came up. Downward dog, happy baby. And I'm just going, get out, I have bad insurance, please just do whatever you have to do. Nothing happened. And I went, you're too sick, you have to go to the hospital, and they will squeeze it out of you. I don't know what they're going to do. I went to the hospital, and they did. Looks like you ate a little burrito. And then you ate a bigger burrito. Are you an idiot? Punch me, push him? I almost went to medical school. She actually said, also your appendix is about to burst, so we gotta get that out of there. We gotta do emergency surgery. And I was like, thank heavens. And she was like, thank heavens? And I thought it was something else. She goes, what did you think it was? And I was like, none of your business. I'm not friends like that. So they cut me open to take my appendix. Where your appendix is, they said, we're going to do it laparoscopically. And so your appendix is over here on your right, and so they go, let's cut them on the left to be less invasive. That's like if you're sitting right there, and then you go, I'm going to get my seat, and you go from that side, and you're like, just excuse me. Invasive if I go this way. All these are your organs. They just, sorry. Wait, no, it's not like that. We're gonna. Nothing is in the way, and that changed my life because up until that point in my life, some of you just learned right now, and when you learn that. It's impossible to not picture the doctor at your belly button with a straw. Otherwise the air doesn't go in. You gotta, there you go. Just like a pool toy. There it goes. It inflated me right up. They inflated me pretty good, and they I said, thank you. And I went home the same day. That was fantastic. I do want to know whose job it was to deflate me. Because had I known, I probably would have stuck with them. Later, I would deflate all the inflated patients, just grab. Is it like when you're doing a camping pad and you're like, you gotta do it from the legs, you gotta get it from the legs. Gotta push. That reminds me of that. So I have had some friends who they are musical people. We were friends and we were in the choir in college. And to listen to for when she was having their first baby. They wanted to, like, instead of a road trip, I was like, that's kind of weird. But and you go, what's on that playlist? And obviously, push it. Yeah, that's on your birthing playlist. What else? And you don't know. Is it like your workout playlist where you just throw it on and it's just like, let the bodies hit the floor. That's a bad idea. And I realized that if this playlist, you're not going to know how to do it, you're not going to know how long, how short, all the things. If you want to do a birthing playlist, obviously hire a DJ. It'd be fantastic. You show up in a birthing. Who's ready? Throw your legs in the air. Ready to have a baby. It sounds the same, just that. I want to hear you scream. I realize it's kind of like those EDM concerts when you don't know when the band. It's that build where it's just like you. Here we go, baby, in 3, 2, 1, baby. No, baby, DJ, and he's like, baby, baby, no. Here we go, baby, in 3, 2, 1, baby, no, baby, what's wrong? And the doctor's like, the baby's breech. DJ, turn around. Every now and then you try to go feet first, but it's a head first situation, so turn. Maybe the baby turns around, right? Maybe not. If he doesn't, what do you got, DJ? You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, round. He would move eventually. I mostly tell that joke because this is Utah, and some of you know someone who's pregnant, and he also is a doula, and so there's plenty of work out there. I forgot this. We've been doing about an hour. How long are we going? Right now. Let's shut it down. Don't do another. The DJ's like, I got you. More, and then we'll take our chairs down. Is that right? We are? Yeah, we are going to do that. All right. There's a dance party. I'm excited to see this guy. All right. I'm going to do a quick home teaching joke and we'll get out of here. Companion, I was assigned with my dad. And that was always the greatest, right? You go to these houses and you're like, whoa. It's when I learned that hoarders exist. Remember going, the second you go in, you're like, oh, should I breathe through my nose or my mouth? Smell it, taste it. Which is better? No idea, no clue. And they would say something equally confusing to you, like, have a seat. And you're just looking at these piles of things, and you're like, where? There's no sheets covering a pile of what I'm sure is dead flat cats, just piled up. And I don't trust that they know how to stack flat cats. I would go head to tail. That would be secure, but They might have been all tail, you slide right up. So I didn't trust them. I just stood there. My dad trusted them. My dad just sat, and I was like, whoa! And he sit on my knee. Sit on my dad's knee. You're being weird. Come on, sit on my knee. I'm like, I'm being weird? Are you serious? I hated it. I was grumpy about it, and he could tell, so he bounced me. Just a little bounce. A little bounce. What are you doing? Why are you bouncing me? I'm not a baby. And he patted me on my back, and I burped, and I felt better. Then a cat that was not yet flat wanders through the rubble. He hopped up on my dad's other knee, the last seat in the house, and promptly vomited on my dad's knee. It's a weird, weird moment. And I know that sounds weird, but I was like, we've been barfed on. We can leave. But they didn't react. They were just like, oh, that happens. Doesn't. No, this is the first time I've been on my dad's lap and a cat has vomited. But since they didn't react, we didn't react either. And my dad just tries to give him a lesson. He's like, well, the lesson this month is learning to love sorry. Love one another. Tries to get through this talk with these people, and it's too stinky. And because I'm his son, I have a sensitive sense of smell as well. But I'm the guy that when I'm talking to someone and they have just that perfect breath, that I'm like, oh, that's a little strong. And I don't want to breathe in when they breathe out. And you're always terrified, like, what happens if I breathe in when they breathe out? And so you panic. What do? Blow out softly, right? Have you ever done that? Talking to somebody, they're like, hey, how's it going? Pretty good. Beautiful day today. Sure is. Would never do that. Would never ever do that. Why are you blowing on my face? I don't know. Because your breath smells like flat caps. What's wrong with you? So there we sit. Cat barf on one knee, me on the other. A message in our hearts. And he's getting to the... And all those sounds are fine. You can hear those sounds and you're fine. When and those are different. You can hear it. You hear it. Why did you make that sound? For some reason. Don't make that sound. Neurons get turned on. Are we communicating in a different language? We're just slamming. Why do we have to talk like this to each other? Well, if you make that sound, I have to make another sound back. Once my dad started making that sound, I was like, Dad, you gotta stop bouncing me. I'm not gonna make it if you don't bounce. Don't do that. Oh boy. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to do it in this group. We might lose somebody. I've lost 3 people. I hope not tonight. Hopefully everybody made it through it. My dad stops bouncing me, starts elbowing me, and I know what that means. That means, hey, say the thing that you say at the end. And that is, of course, is there anything? Always at the end, never at the beginning. Because if you say that at the beginning, you're gonna end up helping them. Right? We all know this. You save it till the end after you've annoyed them with your banter for 4 anything I can do to help you, and they go, no, you just get out of my home. And you go, fantastic. And so we left. My dad elbows me. I'm supposed to say the prayer or the line, right? I say the line, anything we can do to help you. I felt so stupid saying it because I was 15. I really didn't have a good skill set to help them. I was like, do you guys need any Nintendo codes? And they were like, no, we're good. So we barfed and we got out of there. And very nice. You've been fantastic. Thank you.
You'll never sing that song again in church without laughing. Keep it going. We do really need you to pick up your own chair. So we have two dads. DJ here, DJ there, and they're gonna start any minute.
Everywhere.
Yeah, as soon as you put your chair away. Okay?
Swallow too.